All right. Welcome everyone to level 18 of generative AI in higher education. This is being recorded for the people who are not here today or the people who missed the first part. The focus here for today's level, we could say our quest, if you will, is pedagogical standards in AI adoption. And does anybody know who this is? We have a person who I thought was very contributed a lot to last week's discussions and class. Elizabeth, did you have a guess?
I was making a joke. I was saying it looks like Neil Gaiman, but I don't.
Okay.
But I don't think it's Neil Gaiman. It's
Uh,
giving that. It's giving that vibe though.
it's got kind of a similar name, Gaiman.
The Bad Bunny.
This is I was hoping he would. I was hoping he would be uh, joining in with us now, but this is actually Jameson. If you all don't know Jameson, he's I think he came in to the college over the summer last year. But this is Jameson Lee, his AI version. His question here, what message will the grove of the whispering willows whisper? This is the whispering willows in the background. What we're doing here today, as I said, we're looking at pedagogical standards, and we're going to be doing that by crafting some CLOs. So our focus here today, we're actually going to be in we're going to be using ChatGPT today. So we're going to go in ChatGPT and it's going to be a really hands-on one. So for the previous two, it was more like information gathering, and then, discussions about ethics and all that kind of stuff. So we'll recall our knowledge, or, recall what we talked about in regards to ethical considerations last time. But like I said, the main focus here is on actually getting in there. So the first thing I want to talk about before we go in, well, actually the first thing is this gather your gear section that's been added to the intro pages. And it's maybe a good idea before you come in, if you're coming in live to our Friday meetings, it might be a good idea to get this kind of information ready and have it handy, because we're going to be using this, like we'll be copy and pasting your program's learning outcomes into your prompts. And as I said maybe in week 1, to pick a course that you want to kind of remix or adjust using AI. And so maybe getting your current syllabus for that course handy, like, have the doc ready to be opened up. And then any other information about your course that you would want to add in. So I'll obviously go into it in more detail later, but the idea is we're going to be giving a bunch of information about our course to the large language model as a way to kind of train it, and then on your information, and then it should give you, outcomes or outputs that are related to the information that you provide. So the more information, the better. Okay, but let's before we get into all of that stuff, for those people who are unfamiliar with prompt engineering, our focus for the first part is to go over prompt engineering. So can anybody tell us what they think of when they hear prompt engineering? Don't all speak at once.
Giving the chat or the GP, giving the whatever it's called,
The
giving
large language
directions.
model. We'll call
Yes,
it the
giving the
LLM.
large language model an expertise and a position from which to answer the question. So you like assign their their professional capabilities or whatever. Like, you know, you are an interior designer, you are
Yeah, okay.
Jeff Turner, right? You are, and you know everything.
Yeah,
I
Jeff
believe, I
Turner,
believe that Jeff Turner knows everything.
instructor at Clover Park, and you know everything.
Right. But, and then add in what you need to add in. I mean, I've been like taking just my general assignments and then please review this and organize this so that, you know, if a entry level college student could understand it. And
Yes.
sometimes I even have to reduce that to a high school student.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're
That's a
kind of
prompt.
I would say if I were to, you know, in the alphabet, your description is more like over in the R section where
What does that mean exactly?
well, I would say more simply prompt engineering. I like that. I like, you know, that you're getting into the specifics, but for someone like
Oh,
Tracy said, she has no clue what it is. So
okay.
maybe
Lynette.
Jeff, do you have another way to describe it, or did you want to say something
So
else?
Google's your friend, but so standing on the shoulders of giants, there's ways, depending on what you're after, to, for example, have the model give an answer and then critique its answer, and then use its critique to generate a better answer.
Mm-hmm.
If you just ask the question once, that's a single shot.
Mm-hmm.
There's several other models for getting a better answer, a more specific or well thought out answer.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of the way that you present your prompts. So, and for those that don't know, a prompt is just simply what you're typing into ChatGPT, right? So if I open up ChatGPT and I say, let's see, how do I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Why don't you ask it about prompts?
Oh yeah. Well, I can do that. But this is a something that I'm going to be talking. I'm segueing into something else right now. So, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich easy as spreading peanut butter and jelly between two slices of bread. Here's a breakdown. Gather ingredients, prepare the bread. So the prompt is this, and the way that I wrote this is the engineering part. So I could say something like, imagine that you're the greatest peanut butter and jelly maker of all time, or you're like an artisan chef at a, you know, boutique restaurant in France, and you want to make the most exquisite peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So that's prompt engineering. The reason I'm bringing it up is because prompt engineering is maybe the most important thing that you need to consider when you want to get better results from the large language model. And I'm going to show you an example of how, depending on what you're writing down, is going to be your output. And it's this funny video that I watched a while ago, but I found a connection here. And so just to quickly preface what's going to happen in the video, the dad follows his kids' PB&J sandwich instructions very literally. Okay, so you have to think about ChatGPT. Whatever you say to it, it's just going to literally take what you wrote. And so that's where we have to think about how we're asking it, or in this example that I'm going to show you, how you're writing down the instructions on how to make a PB&J. So we'll watch this one.
Get 2 pieces of bread out. Got him.
This dad is teaching his kid a very valuable lesson, but the way that he does it is hilarious. Take a look at this funny video.
No, Dad, with the peanut butter.
I'm just doing what it says. It says take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife.
Hold on.
Get some jelly, rub it on the other half of the bread.
No, Dad, open the jelly.
Well, it doesn't say to do that. Put the breads together on top of each other. Take a big bite. This doesn't taste like a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Sorry, I had to make it extremely specific.
Oh, good. I'm starving. Take 2 pieces of white bread out of the bag. Take the lid off the jar of peanut butter. Get a butter knife and stick it inside of the peanut butter jar. With the knife, scoop a bit of peanut butter out
A bit,
of the...
that means like a lot.
A bit means a lot?
In my world.
There we go.
You're doing better than before, though.
Open the jelly jar. Squeeze it onto the other piece of bread.
Nope.
Done. Closer. Bread. Get some peanut butter.
You'll have to watch the whole video. I'll put this in the chat though if you want to see. They get better over time, but that's the idea here. As I see it, as a kind of funny way to look at prompt engineering, is you have to be super specific about what you're typing into the prompts. So if we go back to the Canvas course, I'll go ahead and put this in the chat as well, in case anybody wants a hyperlink to where we're at. I just got this in an email this morning, but I like the way that they created this. This is from AI for Education, which if you go to the website, you can sign up for their newsletter and they give you a bunch of stuff related to this stuff. AI for Education. So let's look here. So effective prompting for educators. An okay prompt would be create a lesson plan about multiplying fractions for 5th graders. Okay. As you can see here, a better prompt. Act as an expert mathematician and a teacher skilled in designing engaging learning experiences for upper level elementary students. So in this example, they've assigned a role. The role is the expert mathematician and teacher skilled. And I talked about this a little bit in my presentation at in-service day, but basically you're taking all, the LLM has all the different topics, everything that it's been trained on, and then you're kind of focusing it, kind of hyper-focusing it on this specific skill set, and then it's gonna give you better results because it's more focused on what you're asking for. The next thing here, you would give it the task here, design a lesson plan about multiplying fractions for 5th grade students. Okay, and so now this is you've given the role, now this is the goal. And then if we look here at the best, you're an expert mathematician and teacher skilled in universal design for learning. Okay, so we're adding in elements of accessibility here. Design an accessible lesson plan for about multiplying fractions for 5th graders, students interested in soccer. Okay, so more specific, right? Let's say you have a 5th grade class where there's a lot of students that enjoy soccer, or maybe it's World Cup season, or the Olympics are doing soccer. So you have you're adding in something that's a little bit more interesting for the students. The lesson should include a hands-on activity. Okay, so more specific, instead of just a lesson plan, I want hands-on activity and frequent opportunities for collaboration. So we'll talk about collaboration and the rest of the 4 C's next time. Actually, yeah, I think the next level, we're going to be looking at lesson plans. So that's just a quick primer on the importance of prompting. Now I want to actually get us started, but before we jump into this document, are there any questions about prompting?
No, but I do have another question before you move forward, just a brief question.
Yeah.
Okay, what was it, Jaya?
Let's go. You're on air.
I know I am, and I know.
It's dead air right now. Dead air.
No dead air. Okay. So my question is, you're talking about the learning outcomes. We're moving into something where we're going to examine learning outcomes. And my question is, you've said course learning outcomes. So, I mean, we're not writing new outcomes, but we have program learning outcomes and we have course learning outcomes. and we already have them written. Are we going to be refining our learning outcomes? Is this one?
Yeah,
That's the
I mean, it
question.
would just be, I guess in the, if you were to, so there's two things that that can happen here. You can take a course that you already have, and if you want to adjust the course learning outcomes that are already created for that course, you can do that. Or if you have a new course that you're going to be creating, creating the course learning outcomes for that new course.
Right, but if we change course learning outcomes, then we are changing our curriculum. Because
Yeah.
all that, you see what I'm saying? So,
I think that's the purpose of this course.
really? That's the purpose of what we're doing here? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, this is
Oh.
I mean, that's what the next couple lessons are all going to be about, is adjusting the curriculum.
Ronald, I think the question is, if we adjust the CLOs, do we have to go to curriculum committee and get that approved?
Oh,
That's the
Yeah.
question.
You would have to. I mean, for this exercise, maybe not, but here at the college, we would have to go through a whole thing to change these things.
well, I mean so I guess you would create it for that course, and then if you are wanting to take it to curriculum committee afterwards to actually implement the changes, then you can do that. But this is more about just practicing using the tools to do that.
Okay, well, I'm good. I'm a good pretender.
Yeah, this is
I have a
mostly
good
just about
imagination.
practicing like your prompt engineering and all that kind of stuff. But it's in the sorry.
I was going to say, Ronald, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the curriculum committee details. Jeff might know more than me, but I think there's like a percentage of change that's okay without going to the committee. But I don't know the exact details on that.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this document. So this is giving me a link to ChatGPT. Oh, okay, here we go. So if you want to get to this document, this level 18 pedagogical standards, you can click on this image, and then it will bring up this document for you all. And if this looks familiar, this is also something that I covered briefly at the end of hold on. Let me put this in the chat before I talk about it. So if anybody wants to get the direct link, you can get it here. So I talked about this briefly or actually we went through, I think, the first prompt in a workshop that I gave called AI Enhanced Curriculum Design. And I'll put this link in the chat. This is the YouTube video for those who missed that workshop. But this one goes into more detail about why we should think about the course learning outcomes kind of at the top here. And then we use the course learning outcomes to inform our decisions about what we should be doing in the class so that they can meet this course learning outcome, which then comes down to how we should design our lessons and what we should be presenting. And I base it off of this idea called action mapping. So for those people who aren't familiar with action mapping, I would recommend watching at least the first part of this presentation up to about 25 minutes, because the rest of the time we're kind of going through this similar process that we're going to be going over right now. So, okay, so what we're going to do here, once you're in this document, I would recommend making a copy of this, because for this one, you're not able to edit it. I can come in and edit it because I'm the creator of this document. But for you all to make a copy, you would come over here to File and then make a copy. And so make a copy, you can, name it whatever you want. I'm I'll just keep whatever the name is here. And then so once you have your copy, then you should be able to go in and edit it and change it to whatever you want, okay? So I'll hold for anybody who needs any help with that process, because I know that it's like if you're not logged into Google, you might not be able to make a copy. Another option would be if you're not a fan of Google, you can select everything, like just click somewhere here and Control A, and then copy all of this into a Microsoft Word document. So if you're more of a Word fan, then you can do it that way. So then you should be able to edit it in Word. Okay. All right, so let's look here.
So
We just
Ronald, real quick, this is the activity, the AI adoption activity, or this is just prompt? Yeah, this is prompt 1. I think I'm in the wrong one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where you are, but this is prompt 1 for level 18. This is the top of the document. So prompt 1, I included a little bit of instruction about what we're doing here. So the following text is a prompt that you will modify, copy, and paste into the ChatGPT chat box. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead and start a new chat with ChatGPT. The way you can do that is by going to this link, and maybe you will need to log in. I'll show you all what that process looks like, but basically maybe here's the login for those people. Well, I think it'll automatically, if I'm not logged in, let me see what happens. It will automatically, yeah, take me to this page. So if you're already logged in, then you won't see this page. But if you're not logged in, you will see this page. Yeah, if you haven't made an account with ChatGPT, you can sign up here. And I recommend if you are logged into Google on your device, then or wherever if you're on your computer or your tablet, continue with Google. I think that's the easiest way to log in. That's what I usually do. And so I already have an account. I'm going to come here to log in, and then it's going to give me my options. So I will choose that one. And there we go. So I'm in. Now, once I'm in ChatGPT, I'm gonna copy and paste this prompt. So the purpose of this first prompt is to train the large language model. So if you hear me say large language model or LLM, that's just another word for ChatGPT. So it knows what we're trying to accomplish and explains its process. So copy and paste the following with your data. So for this has been a problem. People got confused before. Right now, we're not trying to get a response. We're not trying to get our CLOs in this first step. What I like to do, which I found is an effective way to prompt engineer, is I like to set the instructions, all of the instructions that I would like for the LLM to complete in the first prompt. And then I like to have the prompt, or I like to have the LLM tell me what it's going to do. Okay, so that's the purpose of this first prompt. I'm kind of setting the stage. So if you look at this first prompt, it says you're an expert curriculum and instructional designer. So I've established the role, and department faculty member. So in this bolded brackets, what is this? Whatever this section, you will put your department, so whatever department you're currently teaching in, at Clover Park Technical College. You will help to create course learning outcomes for course. So whatever course you're interested in, like I said, adjusting or remixing. I will provide you with the Clover Park Technical College's college-wide learning outcomes, your program's program learning outcomes, how to write course learning outcomes, so these are instructions, your current syllabus, and any extra information. So this, anything that's bolded, that's in these brackets, that's the thing that you need to change. Okay, that's the way that I have this kind of template set up for you all. I'll explain all of these in detail in a moment, but let me give you, let me finish reading the rest of this first prompt, and then I'll open up for questions if anybody has any questions. So your first job is to create one actionable course learning outcome and 10 supporting sub-course learning outcomes that can be used as objectives for each week and that a student could write on a resume upon completion of the course. So this is the task that I've given the LLM to create. Now you can adjust this if you want something different, but I'm focusing here on that final thing that the students will be able to do when they're done with your course, right? And then I also have it here where you could write it on a resume so that like once the students are done, they can say they have experience doing this. I added in this part here, I will provide the training data in 2 parts. First, I will provide 1 to 3 from the list above. So that's these 1 to 3. When you have taken that data, say ready for the second part, and then I will provide 4 through 5. So what we're going to do, because there is a limit to how much information you can give the LLM at one time, we're going to break it into 2 sections. And so the way that we've broken it down, we're going to break up the first part. So this is actually going to be so if this is the prompt number 1, prompt number 2 will be this information. And then prompt number 3 will be this information. Okay. The last sentence here, can you concisely explain your process to fulfill this request and what you need from me next? I always add this at the end of all my tasks just to confirm that the steps that the LLM is going to take are the same steps that I would take. So I would say the purpose of using these large language models like ChatGPT is to kind of offload some of the work that we know and that we have done in the past. And it's taking that process and just doing it much quicker and creating all the words and, the formatting and the layout. It's doing all of that work for us, but we are still in charge of telling it what we want in the way that we would do it. Does that make sense? Like, I can go, this is what we do, right? We have to go in and make our own course learning outcomes, but in this course, our focus is going to be on trying to have the LLM do kind of the bulk of the work, and then we're going to kind of go in and refine it and adjust it as we see fit. So this is prompt number 1. I have an example prompt down here if you want to see what it would look like with actual information posted in or pasted in. So my example throughout this whole course, I'm going to be using this Weld 106. So I've got the welding technology department. The course is Weld 106. I'm going to give them the current syllabus for welding theory. And then the extra information that I'm going to give is the current Canvas module list. Okay. And then the rest of the prompt is the same. So before we go in and start experimenting with this, does anybody have any questions about why I chose these, or if anybody needs any help with anything related to this step?
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
While you were describing things, I had made my copy. I had started writing in information so that I could try to, stay current and stay up with you. Once I have my information in, and I looked at your example and everything. Okay, so I can download, I think you put the link to download the GPT, so then I would take like 1 through 3 and or one ask the question, or once I have it filled out, what am I supposed to do after that?
Okay, so good question. So for the first prompt, we're not, I was trying to say this earlier, but maybe I didn't articulate it as clearly as I would have liked. We're not putting in this information yet. We will put this information in, but in this first step, this first prompt, we're just telling them what we will give them later. Okay, so it says, I will provide you with the CWLOs, I will provide you with the PLOs and how to write some CLOs. So I'm going to copy and paste just this. Okay, so for the first prompt, this is all we need.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We'll get to copy and paste and all the other information after this one, but is everybody ready for this prompt? Is everybody, like, do you have I guess what we can do, since we're here together, I can do somebody else's. I can make it.
Do you have a recommendation for capturing the module list?
Yeah, I'll go over that
Yeah.
in a second. So Elizabeth, is the thumbs up that you're ready, or do you want me to do your course?
No, I am ready, and I have the same question about capturing the module list. If there's a better way than just typing it all in, that would be.
No, that we're never gonna do that.
Okay, great.
If anything, you're in my course, you're gonna learn about copy and pasting. We got copy and paste everything. So I don't like typing. So I tried to make this so that everything is copy and pasteable from this template. The only thing you would need to put in is like this information here. Tracy, do you have a question? I can't hear you, but I think you're in space. No one can hear you talk. Oh, there you go.
Oh, now we can.
I can't get to you guys. I'm stuck on my chat. I can't get to the Zoom screen any longer. So I'm sorry that you guys are.
I'm gonna stop sharing. So maybe that will. Does this do anything for you?
No, I'm still working on it. I'll play with it. But I did have am I muted?
No, we can hear you.
Okay.
You're not muted. Do you want to be muted?
Does it have to be Chat GTP? Can it be Copilot or?
Oh, so you can do that if you want. The way that the course is structured is every week we'll look at a new tool. So this week is, Chat GPT is kind of the most ubiquitous one. So that's why we're doing that one.
Okay, that sounds good. And I may leave and come back because I'm on my screen with Chat GTP, but I'm not seeing you guys any longer. I'm just gonna leave and come back. Keep going. I don't want to take up time. I'll be back.
All right, sounds good. So, okay, everybody, I've got my Chat GPT open here, and so I've got my
Look at you.
I'm gonna right click and copy this prompt here, my example prompt. And let's see what it comes up with. So it's starting to give me like I said, the steps that it's going to take to perform this. Oh, she got it. Okay, good. The first thing that it's going to do, it's going to review the provided materials. Okay, good. Identify the key themes. So it's going to take the CWLOs and PLOs and then extract the themes as they're relevant to Weld 106. Then it's going to draft the CLOs, develop the sub CLOs, make sure that they're actionable and measurable. I would say this step should be in this step as they're drafting it. It should do this. And then make sure that they're resume relevant. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see how it works. I could go in now and say, make sure that 5 and 6 are part of the drafting process, but we'll just keep it now and see how that goes. So for those people who haven't had this experience with ChatGPT or any generative AI, imagine that you're talking with a person. It's not a person, obviously, but it's a conversational generative AI large language model, which means that it understands what you're trying, when you give it a sentence, it doesn't understand it, but it tries to find the next best response to what you're asking. So I would say that this is fine for us. It gives us the next thing that it needs. Please provide the first set of materials, items 1 through 3, to initiate the process. So once again, this first prompt is just to make sure that the large language model is on the same page as I am for creating these CLOs, okay? And to confirm that it understood everything that I've said, I added this last sentence. Since it asked me down here, please provide the first set of materials, I know that it read this sentence here. I will provide the training parts in 2 parts. First, I will provide 1, 2, 3. So it's got that part, and then now it says, what do you need from me next? So we're primed. We can call this primed. Okay, we've primed the ChatGPT, that large language model. Now the next step. So I put my example response here, and it's similar but different. Okay, now we're moving into prompt number 2. Okay, so now we will provide the actual data from your course into ChatGPT. Number 1 and 3 will be the same for everyone. So these are the draft course-wide learning outcomes. These are not final. These are just what have been presented at Outcomes and Assessment Day, and they're not perfect. They are currently in the process of becoming finalized. But I like the terminology where it's focusing here on multiple learning styles, individual differences. There's a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion principles that are outlined in these. So we're just going to use that as kind of like a backdrop. Okay, so that's going to be the same for everyone. Remember to add parentheses before and after pasted content so that LLM knows where to or how to parse the data. So what we're gonna copy and paste over CWLOs, right? This is number 1. They said it wanted 1 to 3. So number 1 is the CWLOs. I've added a parentheses here, which indicates that this is the beginning of the beginning of the CWLOs. And then I added a parentheses at the end, not a parentheses. What am I thinking of? Quotation mark. I've added a quotation.
Thank you.
Did I write parentheses in here? Let's see here. Parentheses.
Yeah.
I did add parentheses. So I'm gonna change this to quotation marks. Quotation marks. Quotation marks before and after so that it knows where to start and where to stop on these things. So number 1, CWLOs. Number 2, PLOs. So this is, you're going to go into your department website or documents that you have, or most of the time the PLOs are on your syllabus. So if you have your syllabus, you can copy and paste your program learning outcomes in here. Make sure to put them in between the quotation marks. And then number 3, this is how to write course learning outcomes. This is directly from the document from Snowy, from the Outcomes and Assessment, Department of Outcomes and Assessment. This is from the document, one of the documents that she sent out about how to write course learning outcomes and sub-course learning outcomes, okay? And so you all can just copy and paste this. And I'm noticing that there's not a parentheses here. Oh, there is a parentheses. So this is the parentheses for this section. I added this section at the end. Remember, this is just 1 to 3. When you have taken that data, say ready for second part, and then I will provide 4 to 5. So I added this in here because sometimes it forgets that I'm just giving it data now. I don't want it to start creating course learning outcomes. I still want to present more data, okay?
You're
So
not saying please and thank you, though.
that is true. I
But
could
you are
do.
speaking to this thing like it is a human, so I'm just saying.
I should be kinder. You're correct, because
Yeah.
then I have heard tell that the kinder you are and like the more supportive, the better the results. So,
Just in life in general.
sure.
Yeah,
And you know, when AI decides that, you know, it's gonna take over, it's gonna
right.
look at the people who are kind on the chats, and it's gonna look at the people who are demanding, and I don't know.
Yes.
It's gonna
Okay.
parse that data. How
Thank
it
you.
sees fit. Okay, so here's my example prompt that I'm gonna copy and paste. So I've got my course-wide learning outcomes, same as I pasted before. These are the program learning outcomes for the welding technology department. And then I've got my guide. So I'm just gonna come down and I'm gonna copy and paste all of these as my second prompt. Because as we know, it's ready for steps 1 to 3. Let me make sure, okay, I've got everything. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this in here. And what it should do, understood with the CWLOs, PLOs, and the guide on crafting CLOs and sub-CLOs in hand, we're equipped with Forge a Path Forward. Okay. It's still explaining what it's gonna do, but it does say at the end, ready for the second part. Okay. For those of you who are doing this on your own, are you getting similar results? You're on mute, Jaya.
Yeah, I wrote the first, I'm changing it, but I have to go collect all that information. The program learning, I didn't have them handy and ready to go.
Okay.
Oh, it's asking for the Canvas module info. Oh yeah, now we need to know that, how do we get that Canvas module list out of Canvas?
All right, great. So sounds like we're ready for the next step. Okay. For prompt number 3, we can give it this. So this is where we're going to give it the second part. Make sure you do remove any of your personal information from the syllabus, just for privacy concerns. If your syllabus is too long, either tell ChatGPT that you'll split it up into sections or only paste the parts that are relevant to the CLOs. So for example, if you have a 15-page syllabus, maybe only do like the first couple pages that talk about, you know, your calendar and your focus of the course and all that kind of stuff. You don't need you know, student code of conduct or stuff like that. So I just have this here. The syllabus, you're going to copy and paste your syllabus in the quotation marks and then anything else. So here is the copy and pasted syllabus from Weld 106. So it's got the course description, prereqs, program outcomes, college-wide core abilities, and then it's got the objectives, the grading, and I go all the way down here to I think this is where it starts with the student code of conduct. So for the Canvas modules, what you can do if you're in Canvas and you're in your modules section, I mean, it's not going to be that fancy, but you can just grab like this white space here and then just drag all the way down like that. So once you see that all of this is blue, we can right click and copy. Now what's going to happen is if I were to just paste this in here, it's going to make it like real messy. And it's still going to have like, you know, multiple things, right? It's going to have these multiple things. But like, let's say, for example, if I just did copy and paste, let me just look at what this would paste out like. Yeah. So it's like all of this and, you know, the blue and all that stuff. So what we can do, there's two options here so that it's not all like that. What I can do is I can right click, paste without formatting. This is a functionality of Google Docs where it will paste just the text. So once again, it's still going to be messy, but ChatGPT will sort all that out. So we don't need to go in and like erase, oh, this is in here twice. It's going to figure it out that level 28 is also level 28. Okay. If you are not in this one and you don't know how to paste without formatting, it's nice to have a notepad handy. And if you copy and paste into Notepad, it will remove all of the formatting from any text that you copy from any website. It will remove the formatting here. And then you would just need to Control A, Control C, select it all, and then copy it again, and then paste it back in here. Okay. So once you have that Canvas list pasted in here, the Canvas modules, and you have your syllabus, you're ready for prompt number 3. So I'm going to come in, copy and paste all of this. Now it might be too long. In that case, like I said, you might need to break it up. You might need to say, I'll give you the syllabus first, and then I'll give you the module list. But let's see if this works. So copy.
I mean, will it tell you when you put too much information in?
It'll let you know. Say
Not
that.
nice, not kindly, right? I bet.
Well, it says something like I
You've
can't
maxed out, right?
it basically, yeah, says that you put too much in. So I'm going to copy and paste this in. All right, there we go. So crafting an articulate response and completing the assets of the provided materials requires distillation of key information into a concise summary. So this is not what I want. And I'm okay with this happening now because we need to figure out what happens when ChatGPT doesn't give us what we want. So it decided that with all of the information that I gave it, that it would just give me a summary of, it basically just gave us a summary of the syllabus and then the Canvas modules. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, let's see, this is different from the response that I got. Let's see here. If I were to go experience response, thank you. Thank you for the comprehensive details of the syllabus. Now it gives you the proposed course learning outcomes. So since it didn't give it to me this time, this is a good point to let you all know that the responses are always going to be different. And even if I don't like this one, actually, this is a good chance for me to show you all how to get a different response. So let's say I didn't like this response, right? So ChatGPT, what I can do is there, if you see this, what is this? Arrow, the circle arrow here, the circle back arrow, we can click regenerate and it's going to give us a different response. So I didn't like that response. And so now I click the regenerate button and you can see it's a different response this time. Similar, but they've decided to make everything as a bullet list. So still not what I was asking for. So I'm going to see if I can do it one more time. I'm going to say that this is the same. If you want to go back to that first response, let's say that you change your mind. Oh, I do like this one a little bit better. Or maybe there was something from here that you liked. You could click this. Do you see where it says 1 out of 2? If you click the 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 2, you can go between the different responses. So I'm going to try regenerating one more time. See if it can remember what we're doing. And it's just going to do the same thing. So a couple of options here. I can come in and say, remember what you are here to do, something like that. You're here to make course learning outcomes and sub course learning outcomes. Or I can come back into this prompt that I did last time, and I can, if you look at the bottom of the prompt, there's a little pencil icon. Now I can click this pencil icon, and then if I go all the way down here, this is a big post, right? And I go down to the bottom, I can type in something like, you now have all the information you need to complete the task of creating a course learning outcome and 10 sub CLOs. Now you can change this if like, let's say you want to change it to 5 course learning outcomes, 6 course learning outcomes, and 1 or 4 sub CLOs per course learning outcome. Like, you can change the numbers here, but I'm just focusing on, like I said, that 1 course learning outcome that they should be able to do by the end. And then in my mind, I'm thinking 10 sub CLOs that would reach that one thing. But let's see what this does. So I'm adding this, and now I'm saving and submitting. So you can see my 2 responses. I can go back to my first response or my second response. And let's see what it says here. Now it's getting real fancy. From mastering equipment.
Yeah.
So let me see if we have a little bit of time. I don't have too much time to talk about custom instructions, but I don't even know if I have them. Oh yeah. I have a set of custom instructions, which I can go over next time. But basically, I've every time I get a response from ChatGPT, it has to go through these custom instructions. Like, for example, never mention that you're AI. Avoid any language that's expressing remorse or apology.
Yes, please share.
Because sometimes when you're typing, it's like, I'm a large language model, and sorry, but I'm a large language model and I'm not able to do that. These custom instructions help to kind of negate that. And I can't paste them all into the chat right now. Let me see if I can just do it in halves.
Could you put them in the discussion post in our class?
That's a good
Or
idea.
something like that?
Okay.
Or on a page?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll make a page about custom instructions.
Very sweet. Thank you for
Okay.
your generosity.
And then the reason that it's got this fancy language is because this is, I copy and pasted this from somebody else, but
I love
ChatGPT
this.
must communicate with Hemingway's brevity and Struck and White's precision, weave in Wilde's wit, Twain's honesty, Gervais's sarcasm, and Vonnegut's irony.
I
So
love that.
it's got a bunch of extra things that it's kind of going through, but
Right, and maybe I could add a little Joni Mitchell in there,
yeah, you can
just to round it off, you know.
figure it out, you know, however, I mean, it might be in there already, so, okay. So now I'm not getting what I want, but I'm gonna, so what I'm gonna do now, let me see if this is in here. This is syllabus. So
Wouldn't you go
that's
back to your
basically,
first prompt?
this is basically the end of trying to get the CWLOs. Obviously I'm not at this stage yet, but for the end, now it's time to go over the results and decide which ones you're looking for. Continue to converse with ChatGPT to refine the responses until you get something you want. So that's what I'm going to do here to finish this off. There is a side quest prompt number 4 down at the bottom of this page if you want to go in and try to make your syllabus more inclusive, but we didn't, that didn't fall into the time allotment for this this lesson. What I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna there's an example response here that I like. And since I already have it here, I'm just gonna use that. But I could prompt engineer and say like, oh no, actually, I'll just prompt engineer and I'll show you all what I would do. So I would say, if I didn't have that one, and you just list the CLO and sub CLOs. And I could make this more detailed, expect exactly what I want, but for the sake of time, I know we're running up against the hour.
Yeah, but I need to see this. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
demonstrate the safe and proper setup, startup, usage, shutdown, and maintenance of welding related shop equipment. Demonstrate critical workplace skills, including teamwork, communication, critical thinking, and problem solving. I like that. Use inspection techniques and critical thinking to evaluate the quality of joint design fit up. So, I mean, I don't know how many welders are in here. I mean, maybe you're a welder and you're watching this and it looks completely weird, but this looks like
I'm a welder and I don't think if this makes sense.
it doesn't make any sense. It is
does
weird
make
that it's giving me the course learning outcomes, but I asked for, what did I say? Oh, just list
And
it.
sub CLOs, right?
Not 10 sub CLOs.
Oh,
It's the 1 CLO and 10 sub CLOs.
okay. 10 sub CLOs are a lot for a class P, I think.
Right, like I said, you can change
Yeah,
the
yeah.
numbering and,
Yeah,
amount, but
all right. I was just, you're an instructor and I'm then saying, do I not have enough sub CLOs in my head?
I would follow whatever
Yeah, my training,
yeah,
whatever someone else tells me.
whatever you were doing before, that's fine.
Right, no.
I'm offering a different perspective.
Yeah.
My perspective is I want one thing. And this is terrible because look, this is understand if you look at the instructions
Well,
that I gave at the
It
beginning.
lost what the class was. It changed the class.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even
What? Oh,
I
computer
didn't even
science.
get to that part of the sentence.
Oh my gosh.
So
Filled it in for you. It's how.
so
All
what
right.
I think what I think was happening is I gave it too much information and it lost the initial
The thread. Mhm.
thing. So what I can do now is I can come back in and maybe recopy this part, the parts that now that I've given you this information,
Right.
like I would just do this one.
Mhm.
I'll copy paste this. So I'll say, as a reminder, you are, okay. I have provided you with this information. And let's see what this does. So I know we're out of time. Let me see if it's in the correct class here. It does say welding theory now. And it did give me 10. So maybe just reminding it of what it's here to do. So this, like I said, I got a different result when I did it before. I got actually this one, but you know, it's not always going to be like that. And so
Right. I mean, I think it's just so, yeah.
figuring out what you want to say to get what you want is something you can experiment with and something that we will continue to experiment with in this course.
And we will all only get better, right?
Sure.
I mean, so I just look at it like I need to see this because I like seeing this. This informs me. You know, it's just more information. You got to build up your computer in your head with this stuff, right?
Right. You gotta figure out how to talk with it to get it what you want. So to bring it back to that the video of the kids making the sandwich at the beginning, the guy was doing nothing. He just ate 2 pieces of bread and had no peanut butter and jelly. But if you continue to watch this video, by the end the kids figure out, okay, I need to be super clear in my instructions for my dad to eat this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay.
Right.
So
well, I'm gonna watch it till the end.
yeah, it's a funny video. I see that we're at time, so I want to be respectful of that if you need to go. The assignment for this week is if you've updated your course learning outcomes and put them into your syllabus, you can put your syllabus, a link to your syllabus out here. And remember, we're trying to create a portfolio where it's accessible to everyone. So a link to something, as opposed to attaching just a file, would be better. And then you can also copy and paste the results down here so that people can see them easily that are inside this course. And then also you have a journal reflection that you can post after that. So thank you all for coming. If you have
Thank
any questions,
you.
you can stick around. I can answer some questions after the time, but like I said, if you gotta go, you gotta go. So
Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm gonna hang around, Ronald. I got a couple of questions for you.
yeah, sure.
I might just eavesdrop.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, so I'm a course. I'm not a program.
Mhm.
Okay, so I just teach the various computer classes.
Mhm.
So I'll choose my 5 credit. And I probably need to clean out my syllabus because I have tables and it looks like it's just only content.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, before you do that, we're gonna be we have a new thing called simple syllabus coming, which will all like the tables will be like embedded in, like everything will be separated and organized kind of nicer in that thing. So you don't need to do like a whole complete rework yet.
When's it coming?
Oh,
Soon.
You know the timing? Okay.
No. Hopefully, we can get, I'll tell you the stage that we're in. We're in the stage of implementing it into Canvas and figuring out how that's working on the back end. And
Mhm.
so I would say we could have a in-service presentation on
Oh,
to set
cool.
it up. Potentially. Don't quote me on that though.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll probably forget.
Okay. Well, it's recorded now. Oh, I should stop recording.
All
Okay.
right, do stop recording.
Stop the summary. The class is done. And so I'm gonna stop the recording and stop the summary.